What another fantastic afternoon for Premier League football. Two epic comebacks, title, champions winning comebacks from both Manchester City and Arsenal. We're going to delve into the full fan highlight show. We want to get your views. We want to get your opinions. Make sure you leave your comments below. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. And of course, remember to protect yourselves at all time when using the internet by using NordVPN. You can get a 2-year plan with an extra 4 months free by scanning that QR code just there. But look, well, there's loads to delve into in these two games, and I'm really intrigued to see the diversity of opinion, potentially some duplicity, some hypocrisy in here as well. I'm sure people are going to do that. We're going to let the audience numbers get up a little bit higher before we jump into that. We've obviously got I'm about to say we have got the panel come in. We do have a panel come in later in the show. But I remembered that KJ's not working today, so I need to share the link. I haven't put the link into any of the group chat, so I'm going to need to get that done now so that people can jump on and have their say, because I legitimately forgot to share it. 1 second here. I'm going to go into the group chat now and share the link because I forgot. I forgot to share it, so I'm literally pinging it in there now so that everybody has everybody's got it. Because I forgot to share it. Now I think I put it into all the group chats, so everybody should have it now. The only person I'm not sure if he's in there is Hamza, so I'm going to go DM him the link because I'm not sure if Hamza's in any of those group chats, if I'm being honest. But if anyone's got his details, who's already got it, please. There you go. That's one thing I forgot to do. I'm so used to KJ being at work, but he's off this weekend. He's off living his life. But look, I'm going to start with the Arsenal game and then go into the Manchester City one. Arsenal today, the game started really interestingly because Arsenal they rotated. And I understand the initial knee-jerk reaction is probably going to be Arteta got it wrong. They weren't at their scintillating best, Arsenal. They had the ball. They created the chances. They were absolutely, fundamentally the better side in the first half. But there was a little bit of stoutness, a lack of a final ball or finishing touch. The team that started the game wasn't quite cutting it. I don't think Arteta has made a mistake, per se, because it's rotation, because rotation is needed. I think one of the mistakes Arteta has made over the last few years is not utilizing his squad regularly enough. But what he also did is that once he saw that it wasn't working, he made those changes. But it's important to give those players game time. Then Arsenal went 1-0 down against the run of play, but a very, very good goal. There was calls for a foul in the build-up on Sterling. Not for me. That'd be very soft. And it was a wonderful taken goal by Archer. And you're sort of looking at yourself thinking, oh, we've seen Liverpool win today. City are going to go down, but we're leading 2-1 at this point. And Arsenal have gone 1-0 down at home to Southampton. How will they respond? What does the mentality look like? And it took Arsenal a matter of minutes to stand up, to be counted, and to get back into the game. And it was a wonderful piece of pressing. They capitalized on the mistake. Saka feeds the ball into Kai Havertz, who makes it 7 home games on the bounce that he has scored. And it was a wonderful finish on his left foot, posting him. Then they just ramp it up, Arsenal, creating even more pressure. They make a treble substitution and probably start the Trossards, Martinellis. They bring them on. They would have been expected to have started. There's a bit of a curveball there from Arteta. They come into the game and Arsenal go up another level. Now, we've seen some wonderful crosses in Premier League history, but the ball from Bukayo Saka to Martinelli to go 2-1 up is absolutely sublime. If he undercooks it, the player is going to be in the wrong position. If he overhits it, it's going out. It was perfect. Great first touch, first time shot, first touch from Martinelli, who buries it, and it's 2-1. And look, listen, after that, what was really interesting is that Southampton came back out. They hit the post after a mistake from Raya. So Arsenal got a little lucky there. They carried on persevering. And then Saka, I think, topped off another excellent performance, especially in that second half, by getting the third and killing the game off and putting it to bed. And there are certainly areas that Arsenal fans will be cynical of and critical of today, and I absolutely understand it. But I think it was important to rotate and give players an opportunity to fight for a place in the first team. I wouldn't say Raheem Sterling, as an example, did enough. I don't think Jorginho did enough to warrant maybe starting the next game, but rotation is key. And as a Man United fan, the reason I'm not going to sit here and say I think Arteta's made a mistake is because I've seen my club dominate this league, and I've seen hundreds of games. It probably wasn't hundreds, but loads of games where we'd be at home in the Premier League, 3 p.m. kickoff, and you're sort of sitting there going, why is Rooney on the bench? Why did he start Wes Brown today instead of Rio Ferdinand? All right, Scholes is on the bench and he started Fletcher. Why? And you might get to 60 minutes and you're 0-0 or it's 1-1 or you're losing. And then he brings on 2 or 3 of the stars that he's rotated. You go on to win the game. Nobody used to overanalyze that. It's part of rotation. So, but the big boys come on, they get the job done, they kill the game off, but it demonstrates Arsenal's mentality. It demonstrates their ability to win. And I think that's a really important component to have. This Arsenal team is built different. This Arsenal team is so far removed from the Arsenal teams that we saw from about 2008, 2009 onwards. There is an underbelly. There is a stomach being created to get them through adverse moments. And sometimes people will focus on adverse moments and say, well, those adverse moments happening is proof you're not a good team or proof you won't get over the line. This isn't true. Man City today are a case in point. They conceded an abundance of chances. They went 1-0 down. They had a late scare, but they got the job done. Look what they've achieved. Do you know how many times Man United had games exactly like Arsenal's today in the Fergie era? And forget City and Arsenal. If you look at Wenger's peak time, the amount of games that were like this for Arsenal, we forget. Nostalgia creeps in and you think, we never sometimes struggled or huffed and puffed or had to make changes to win games. It's normal. But I think we live in the world where we overanalyze this. And of course, there are things that certain players could have done better. But overall, they got the job done today. They dominated the proceedings. They dominated. Whether you're a stats person or an eye test merchant or both, in my case, they dominated the eye test. They dominated the stats. I mean, if you go now and look, right, at I know a lot of people love XG, right? I'm not a massive XG person, but let's go and look at the XG for this game as an example. This is from SofaScore. But it was 2.58 versus 0.6. Do you know what I mean? Even just, and I want to give it, like, Brentford scored 5 goals today. What was their XG? If it finished, their XG was 4.0. Who else scored a lot of goals today? City scored 3 goals today. What was their XG? I mean, City's XG today was actually 1.55. They actually scored some screamers. Fulham's was 2.4. So it doesn't make City a bad team, which means they didn't have their greatest performance. Fulham missed some chances, but actually Guardiola made some brilliant blocks, and the goalkeeper made a wonderful save. So people doing their jobs isn't a bad thing per se. Arsenal get the win, stay a point off the top, and I just think it's making an absolutely amazing title race. There's no doubt about it. People saying City are lucky. We're going to talk on that in a moment, because I don't think City were lucky per se. But we'll get onto that when we move on to that. In terms of individual players for Arsenal today, look, he got skinned once in the game, but outside of that, Calafiori just looks amazing. This guy is just phenomenal. His ability on his feet is out of this world. I thought Saka, as I've already mentioned, had a phenomenal game. An absolutely phenomenal game again. And the amount of, and again, I don't go and look for all these stats, but there are stats for them. What is it they call when you carry them? Yeah, carries into the box as an example, and his crossing was very good. His creativity was there. But you know what I love about Bukayo Saka? He's never say die attitude. Tries to take a man on, doesn't work, tries it again. Puts in a cross, slightly overhit. Boom, next time it will be better. Okay, I've undercooked this one. I'm going to keep trying. He doesn't allow the adversity to stop him from trying. And that is so key if you want to win things from an individual player. And then I want to show Kai Havertz did well again today, scoring 7 in 7 at home. But I want to shout out Martinelli because there were rightful calls a few weeks back for him to be dropped from this Arsenal team. I understood why Arsenal fans wanted him dropped. I understood why the media was hounding him. But he's starting to score goals and he's starting to perform. When he came on, it wasn't just that he scored a good goal. He looked electric. He looked alive. And if Arsenal can get Martinelli back to the peak that he's been at prior and maybe improving further, that's dangerous. Because last season, you weren't really, especially the latter half of the campaign, you weren't getting the goals and the assists and the output, the delivery, along with the performances. You weren't even getting the performances sometimes as well. But he's starting to turn that corner. Saka is a machine when it comes to numbers. And that's important. You know, whether it's from a corner, whether it's a cross like today, doesn't matter. He is going to deliver you GA. Havertz is starting to score more goals. If Martinelli can start to increase that output with performances, Arsenal will be in business until the very end of this campaign. There's no doubt about it. But overall, as I say, Arsenal with champions mentality today. This Arsenal team is built different to so many Arsenal teams that we've seen in the last 15 to 16 years, and what a title race they are going to help serve up this year. Before I go to the Super Chats and bring the panel out, look, City. Let's speak about City for a moment here. Some people are going to say they were lucky, and I understand that train of thought. Traore should have made it 2-0. They had a number of breakaways, Guardiola with blocks, Ederson with a great save from Traore when he went through one-on-one. But it isn't luck, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because I've seen City have so many games like this in the last 8 years. One that always stands out to me was Bournemouth away. Raheem Sterling scored in like the 97th minute to win the game. The amount of times I've seen, it's not a regular occurrence in terms of every 2 or 3 matches, but I've seen it an abundance of times where a team gets the breakaway chances, gets the counter-attack opportunities, scores goals, but City still find a way to grab points. This is why they have won in the 8 years Pep has been here. They've won 6 league titles in 8 years. It's why they've won so many domestic trophies. It's why they've done the 4P. It is why they've won the treble. It's because they have a never say die attitude. And sometimes you can look at it as luck. And there are little moments of luck in games. However, I don't think it's unlucky that your goalie makes a great save. Sorry, lucky that your goalie made a great save or Guardiola makes a block. You could argue it was lucky that the final ball was fault. If that chance for Traore fell to Jimenez or Smith Rowe or Pereira, I think they're scoring that. You know, we know this guy misses. He only really turns up against Man United, to be fair. But I don't categorize it as luck. And I'm fairly consistent with this. When a team regularly finds a way to win, whether they perform badly, perform poorly, whether they concede goals, when you're doing that on a regular basis, if that's the definition of sustainable, I don't call it luck. What they had today, City, and they don't do this regularly, but what they did today is individual brilliance got them 3 points. The system wasn't great today. They were caught in transition a lot. They conceded, as I say, 2.4 XG, if you want to use that metric of chances today. Some absolute sitters. Chances that they wish they had in the game. But look, a fortuitous deflection helps Kovacic's first shot. Kovacic's second goal was out of this world. The touch, how he got past the player and then finished it. And then Doku with an absolute screamer. But at the end of the day, again, it doesn't need to be overanalyzed. Yes, they're conceding some opportunities and chances. This is going to open the door for teams to try and, push it ajar and get through, i.e. Liverpool, Arsenal, maybe, Villa, maybe Chelsea if they keep growing. But I don't care about the door being ajar and there being opportunities. This City team is stacked with so many match winners. And I think what was really important for City today is that without Haaland scoring goals, they've struggled to find goals from elsewhere. So I think Kovacic and Doku stepping up and putting the ball in the back of the net is so fundamentally important for the confidence of the overarching team and for those goals now to start spreading themselves around. It really, really is. So I'm not going to personally categorize today as lucky for Manchester City, because we've seen this happen too regularly in games where you think, oh, they may lose. I had no hope for Fulham when they missed that shot. If they'd have gone 2-0 up, I think it could have been different. As soon as Traore missed that chance, I went straight. I like a little flutter every now and then. I went straight onto my betting app and stuck money on City to come back and win. As soon as that happened, boom, straight away, I had to put money on them not winning on City winning the game, because I just knew what was going to come. Let's go to some of your super chats now, people, before our panel comes out on the show with us today. Saka, 9 GA in 7 Premier League games. Yeah, look, the guy's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. He really is. And I know he's not everybody's cup of tea. He doesn't pass all the eye tests for everybody and stuff like that. But he is a phenomenal football player. And I think that he gets ridiculously unfair criticism at times. I think that the sort of the way in which he is assessed and judged is so different to many other players in the Premier League. He's a phenom. He really is. Thank you, Chest, for the super sticker. If only Fulham's sprinter had any kind of ability. Yeah, he'll have ability when he plays against Man United against that chance, so I'm telling you. Saka with no Martin Odegaard in his way is the best creator in the Premier League behind KDB. Back-to-back games with 4 big chances created, 7 assists already. The star boy. But I don't see, Odegaard isn't going to stop him from putting that cross in today. He can do that in games. He always creates. His GA is always very high. And again, Arsenal are doing this without Odegaard. It's very good news for them. Not every game will be a walk in the park. Love to see the boys take the game and come back. This Arsenal team is built different and scary. Do you know what's really interesting about that is, because my team doesn't put in consistent performances at Man United, becoming more consistent in performances matters now to me more than these types of, oh, we started poorly or we couldn't finish our dinner, we went behind and we won. When my team was in its pomp, I loved winning like this. In fact, I used to, whether I was at games or watching at home, we'd go 1-0 down, and sometimes I'd get more excited. Go, okay, a bit of jeopardy now, especially when you're playing the bottom half teams, mid-table teams. I go, okay, we've gone 1-0 down. This makes it a little bit more interesting. I used to sometimes get a bit more excited when that happened, rather than 3-0 up at half-time against Southampton, easy. Do you know what I mean? Chill out, sort of go on your phone, chat to your friends. Like you especially when I was at the ground, you go 3 or 4-0 up. And sometimes you get to 70 minutes, and me and the lads would go back in through the concourse area and watch the rest of the game on the screens and have a drink. Just because it was okay, we won now. So yeah, sometimes I used to love that. I hate it now because I hate winning that way now, because but we already had the baseline of consistent performances. So yeah, funny how I see the world differently now. Can't be lucky if your keeper makes saves. No, I agree. You know, you could argue they were lucky that Traore missed the one of the chances he did. All the other chances were either well saved or well defended. That's not luck. That's brilliance. And I totally agree. Time wasting, low blocks versus Fulham, effing disgrace. Obviously, I know that's sarcasm. Please ask the panel if they still break Chelsea's record. Oh, do you know what's interesting? People always talk about, oh, Terry always like glazes Arsenal. That was one of the claims in the summer people made that I just thought, I just don't think anybody's ever going to do it. Because as good as Arsenal's defense is now, and as good as Liverpool's defense looks now, I don't think there are any defenses in the world right now that are anywhere near as good as the defenses in that era. I think we just had better defenders at large. So that's why I don't think it will happen, personally. But there we go. Awful 60 minutes by Arsenal. The lack of end product in the final third in the first half. Shaky start to the second, but brilliant performance by Saka. Nelly delivered again. Huge win. Do you know what's really funny? One of my little brothers decided to pick Man United as the team to support. And before he defected to Leyton Orient, do you know what his reason was? He was only young, by the way, so no one really cared. He was a kid still. He said, I hate Man United. I said, why? He went, we only try when we go a goal down. And that was stuck with me. I was a little kid myself. I remember my brother saying it. I've never forgot it. And Arsenal kind of did that a little bit today. Conceding a goal kicked them into gear. But this happens. And again, watching it as a non-Arsenal fan, I did feel the final ball was a little poor. But equally, Southampton defended really well. The blocks, they cut out every cross. They were playing very well. And I don't think you can take that away from them either. Is Saka the best in the world now? Same GA as Palmer. I think Saka is one of the best attackers in the world. There's no doubt. Saka, fantastic captain's performance. Havertz, 7 in 7 at home equals RVP's record. No, he surpasses RVP, equals, I think Henry has the record of 7. If he scores in the next one, he becomes the record holder. Great from Saka. Havertz starting to justify the 65 million. O'Malley here says, all Arsenal fans have seen that Jesus and Havertz don't mix. Arsenal need to give Waneri time. Moreno looks a player. Big up Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz. Absolutely, everybody get the like button smashed. If you haven't done so, get that done. Arsenal and City letting goals against Leicester, Fulham, and Southampton. 8 and 6 goals altogether, but Liverpool had no test. Well, that's why I pushed back on exactly what was being said earlier on today, Andrew. I did. That's really crazy about the level of goals that City and Arsenal have. Man United have only conceded 2 more than Arsenal. And the same as Man City. It's actually crazy. And 6 of ours are in 2 different bloody games. Well, that's going to go up tomorrow, though, I can imagine. Havertz, man of the match. Saka on fire. Thank you very much, bro. How can I be on the panel? I'd love to be part of one of the shows. Drop us a DM, bro, and we'll start sharing the links. Absolutely happy to have you on. First 60 minutes was crap, but credit to Arteta for rectifying and trusting Sterling and Jesus. The subs were top. Martinelli, to Havertz and Martinelli top. When will Saka get his respect? I'm going to say this now, and it's going to wind people up, but I'll say it anyway. Saka does have their respect. What is it that I think Drake said this, that jealousy is love and hate at the same time? I think it was Drake that said that. They know how amazing Saka is. They respect him deeply, but they're in pain because he's not their player. And I suppose for me, because he plays for England, I don't hate him. Does that make sense? Because, you know, he is my player as well, if you get where I'm coming from. So I want him to progress and I want him to do well as an example. But people do respect Saka, but they also give him a lot of crap because they hate the fact that he's so good. Martinelli critics should give him some praise now. Absolutely. Arteta was doing man management by letting Jesus and Sterling play to not upset the morale, and then equally made the subs, but I'd rather bring them on. Yeah, but you have to rotate. You can't try and win 4 tournaments and not rotate. This has to happen. You can't just say, genuinely, if the analysis from fans is play the best players every single game, you'll win nothing this season. You will fade. You have to have rotation. You have to. And sometimes you get a bit of a flat performance and have to make the subs, but you have to take that risk. You have to take that risk. You can't start all your best players or your best team every match. You go to the year, there was like a 2-year period where Liverpool won the Champions League and then won the league, right? We could all name their best 11. And it was Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gini, Fabinho, and Henderson. And we know the front 3, Mane, Salah, and Firmino. We knew it. But in that 18-month to 2-year period, I read an article that only started like 6 or 7 games together. There was always somebody else coming in. Rarely did that 11 start. Sometimes you'd have 2 or 3 of them, 4 of them out for a game. You know, it'd be at home against a Norwich on a Saturday afternoon. And this is a great time to rotate. Because even if it goes wrong, it's recoverable. It has to happen, Arsenal fans. If you don't, you won't win the major trophies. Everybody does it. Look what Real Madrid and PSG will do on a Saturday when they've got a big Champions League game midweek. They'll make 8, 9, 10 changes before their league game if it's an opponent they know they can still beat. Because sometimes it's not about, oh, we have to be 10 out of 10 performance and score 8 goals. It's, let's just get the 3 points, reserve the legs for the big game in the week. You have to be strategic. Saka had what I call over my dead body game. He's world class, and that's it. Saka is world class for me, is what Daniel says here. Havertz's best game, hard and gritty. Yeah, Havertz was excellent today. I thought he was really good. To anyone who says Saka ain't world class, that's 7 assists and 2 goals. Hold that. Havertz and Martinelli. Oh, chef's kiss. Is that 7 assists and 2 goals in the last week or 2 or all season? He only got 2 league goals this season. I thought he scored more than that, but okay. Leagues are won by resilient teams. No team can be perfect for 38 games. Can't fluke it like a cup run. No, but even the cup run isn't fluky. You've still got it's still enough games. Like if you've got to play 6, 7, 8 games. Look at the Champions League this year. You've got to play 8 league games. And then what? 8, potentially 7 to 9 more matches after that. Can't fluke that amount of games. It's impossible. I praise Arteta for seeing a lack of final pass and slow down the tempo. It changed with enough time. Proud of my boys today. Big up Arsenal. Terry, respect your honesty about all the clubs. Reason why you're going to go to the top. Thank you very much, Sam Ritchie. I already feel like we're at the top of where I want to be with the Football Terrace. I love what we've done here as a community. Clips channel, we're closing in on, we're on the road to 500,000 followers. The Clips channel now is nearly on 80,000 followers, which is amazing, which means soon, hopefully, we're going to get another silver plaque. So to have 2 of them will be amazing. Do you know what I'm saying? To have 2 of them plaques would be a great achievement. So thank you. 3 centre-backs, 3 DMs, 2 centre-forwards and 2 wingers. Arteta must almost messed up. I don't think he almost did. They came back and were leading for the last 30 minutes of the game, personally. But if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. We're going to bring the panel out now to have their say. If you haven't hit the like button yet, get that done, people. And remember, the Premier League and the police here in the UK are coming down hard on illegal streaming. Hard, okay? So you have to find a different way to get the 3 o'clock games, Premier League games, that's legal. The way I do it is I use NordVPN. You can sign up to it now by scanning that QR code. Then I change my geolocation to Moldova or the Ukraine, and I use Southampton Sports. I do it from my Mac on my desk. You can actually, it's got a really great feature where you can have 2 or 3 games all on at the same time. It's a really good piece of kit. NordVPN is cheap as chips. It's like £4 or £5 a month. Southampton's like $3.99 a month, but you get all other sports in there as well. Seriously, stop the illegal streaming because at some point you're going to get in trouble. The Premier League are not having any of it. People have gone to prison for it. Genuinely. Some people I know, because I've spoke to them because they've wanted the VPN set up, have had the internet cancelled at their house and been blacklisted. Genuinely. So be very, very careful. Do it the legal way. Protect yourselves. Because honestly, for what, 7 or 8 quid a month all in, it's worth the money to do it the right way. Trust me. So, scan the QR code, go and take a look. And if the setup doesn't work, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee anyway. So it's risk-free. Check that it works for you. Check with the bill payer, of course, as well, especially if you don't pay for your own phone. Somebody else, you have to do it through Apple Store or whatever your version is. But go and check it out, please, people. Go and check it out. Ryan says no. If you're not using a VPN, you're actually crazy foolish as well. And I'll let you know as well, if Terry is ratting people out. I ain't ratting in. That's not what ratting people out is you for. Ratting someone out would be to go, I know that so-and-so is illegally streaming. That isn't what I'm doing. I'm just saying, if you are doing it, be careful. Simple as that. No, people have gone to prison in the UK for illegally streaming football. Dana White from the UFC, they have like task teams, more in the States, that are kicking down people's doors. That they are legitimately doing it. This ain't even a joke. It's not even a joke. I mean it. Right, we're going to come back to some more of this later. Panel time now. Who we got? We have Giuseppe. We've got Igal. We have Hamza. We have Sulz. We have Mo. We have Dio. We have Nathan. We have Jason. Huge panel. Huge panel today. I'm going to put you on mute, Jason, because that whatever was going on there was loud. Dio backstage the whole time. He's cutting in and cutting out. What's wrong with your setup, Dio? It's awful. Igal,
I was watching the game in bed, man. I'm still in bed.
Okay.
This morning.
Igal, talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
It must have been boring.
Bro, we are inevitable. We are inevitable. And I don't know about any other Arsenal fans in this panel, but we went 1-0 down, and I was just like, it's annoying, but I was comfy. I was like, we're gonna win this game. We're showing that we're gonna break them down. We're gonna get that goal, and when the goal gets through, the floodgates open. The floodgates open. We see the open pitch. We see the players getting a little bit more comfortable. Kai Havertz scores. And you know what? Bukayo Saka sets it up. Kai Havertz keeps the goal streak running. It's a beautiful goal streak to see him continuously scoring game after game at home. It's good to see Bukayo Saka setting up the first goal, then setting up the second goal. That was Mesut Ozil-esque. To send it over everyone else to the far post, similar to how Mesut Ozil did a couple years ago. Obviously not as good as Ozil, but still a beautiful pass in itself and a beautiful finish from Martinelli near post. And then you have the final moment, Bukayo Saka. In a moment where I felt like Southampton, we kind of got lucky we didn't concede a second, Bukayo Saka finishes it off. And this guy, guys, Jamie O'Hara was talking about Bukayo Saka is not world class. Well, if that's not world class, I want more players like him, because I don't know what the hell that you classify as a player who consistently scores or assists or just major contributions to every single win that we've had this season. He's somehow finding a way to contribute in every goal in this game. He's gotten 2 assists and a goal, and he and Kai Havertz have a wonderful partnership also. Defensively, I felt like Thomas Partey being at right back kind of changed the game for us. Raheem Sterling starting kind of changed the game and how we played, and we weren't as fluid. We were trying to figure each other out. And Gabriel Jesus is probably my only major concern coming out of this game. He looks off it in the sense that he's not making the right reads. He's not making the right passes. He's not finding people. Just the continuity is not there with him and the players on the pitch. And yeah, overall, my takeaway from this game is Bukayo Saka is world class. We're inevitable, and you know what? We might concede a goal here and there. We're not going to probably get the Chelsea record, but still, when we want to be good defensively, it's usually away from home. At home, we concede the odd goal here and there, and it's just that's how it's going to be for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Sulz, I mean, how worried were you at 1-0 down? And did you believe you would come back to win the game?
I mean, this team does not worry me one bit. I think we're so inevitable, we're beyond beatable at the moment. Like, every single moment, like, I am actually chill. This season is probably the first season where I'm not actually that worried about us not winning a game, especially against Southamptons and, you know, the lower levels especially. But when it comes to, like, your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Villas, that's when, yes, I can be a little bit more worried and go, okay, you know what, they've got the quality to at least hold this out. But the problem actually today wasn't the fact that we couldn't create chances, we weren't opening them up. It was actually just not taking them. You know, we didn't have a goal on target until I think the 47th minute, which was the 2 minutes added on, you know, in the first half. We had one shot on target. That was our problem today. And you know, that was always going to get fixed when Trossard comes on, when Martinelli comes on, you know, moving Kai Havertz further forward. You know, those sort of situations were always going to be fixed. Now, the reason why I wasn't worried as well is the firepower coming off the bench. Now, we had our bums on the pitch and not off the pitch. You know, we had Trossard coming on. We had Ethan Nawari that could come on. We had Martinelli coming on. So that's what gave me the confidence that no matter what happens in this game, we've actually got the players to come on and make a big impact. And that's exactly what they did. You know, Trossard coming on, Martinelli getting the goal, Trossard being, you know, someone who's causing chaos every single moment as well, especially for the Kai Havertz goal as well, you know, someone who's being a nuisance coming in, you know, and he adds a different dynamic to kind of stretch that pitch as well and open up opportunities for the defensive line. So I wasn't worried at all, and I don't think this team ever worries me, especially when we had, you know, 10 men against Man City and we held our own. You know, we still managed to come out of that game with a point. And, you know, yes, we should have come out there with the full 3 points, but coming 10 men, going at the Etihad and still being able to sit there and compete against them, I'm happy with this team. And this team, there's nothing that I can sit here and criticize them for. The only things that I'm concerned about, this isn't the first game where I've seen the defense be ripped open, you know, a few times. And that's something that we've spoken on many streams before. I do think there is a bit of a, once we start attacking a bit more, the defense does seem to open up. And that's a concern for me, because as much as we love our defense and we think we're solid, there are a few moments in games where it's too easy. You know, we've seen it when Haaland scored. We've seen it today when, you know, Cameron Archer, and there was a few other moments as well where Saliba and Gabriel got caught, you know, on the back foot and they needed to make recoveries. So they're the kinds of things I do want to reassure a little bit more, but that's going to happen with time. It's first few games, the start of the season, teething issues. You know, Calafiori for me, you know, a brilliant player in every sense of going forward, but defensively he has been caught out a few times. They're just nitpicky things that I'm looking at. But, you know, Partey coming in at right back, I actually thought he was sensational today at right back. You know, something that, you know, last season was the complete contrast. If you actually bring up the first 3 games and the match reactions, Tarek, you would hear that, you know, that Partey was being heavily criticised, but Arteta being criticised for playing Partey at right back. Today's the perfect time to do it against an opposition where they're probably not going to bring a lot of threat into it. But rotations needed to happen. We need to give Sterling, Jesus, Jorginho the minutes because we've got a long season ahead. And it looks like the intent is we're competing on all fronts. We're going for every competition and we have to keep them fresh because we can't just throw them in cold and expect them to perform. So, you know what? A masterclass from Arteta.
Yeah, Nathan, I want to go to you on this. And the reason why I want to go to you is I saw a lot of people on the sort of timelines, sort of the manager starting lineups wrong. I can't believe he's done it, and angry. Are you frustrated at all with who started the game for you? Is that something that you don't want to see again, or is it necessary when competing on all fronts?
I think it's definitely necessary when competing on all fronts. I wasn't necessarily angry with the starting 11 because I feel like everybody needs to be spread out and everyone needs to fight for the positions. We need competition, and competition is essential to bring the best out of players. So it was more disappointment in some of the players that came in. I felt in particular with Gabriel Jesus. I mean, I don't ever like to say a player's finished, but his confidence looks finished at the moment. His decision making was horrible. He was playing FIFA Street. There was times where he could pass the ball off to Saka, who was straight on through, and he would chop back in. And really, he looks a player devoid of confidence and a shell of the player that we signed 2 years ago when he first broke in, and he looked to kind of take our forward line up another level. So that's probably more the disappointing aspect of our starting 11 as opposed to rotation. I mean, we played a Champions League game midweek against PSG, and I think you need to keep players fresh. You need to manage their minutes. You need to make sure that players don't burn out. I mean, we see City do it all the time. We see Liverpool do it. It's essential. It's a long season. The Premier League is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And when you kind of look at it through that lens, it's definitely essential.
It certainly is. And I mean, and the team that started also were the team on the pitch that got the equalizer and would have probably gone on to win it as well. But you also at the stage of the game where you would naturally be making changes anyway. I just think I just see the way I saw certain people on Twitter, like going in, it's a disgrace, this lineup. Why are we doing this? You've got to play your best team in every match. And I was sitting there thinking, no, I agree. I think there's a bit of PTSD in there, but I also think that's coming from some people just troll. So some people might just be doing it for attention, but this is also coming from the younger part of your fan base who don't know what it feels like and remember what it's like to fight on all fronts to try and win. You have to do this. It's a different feeling. There are times where, listen, I remember we had injuries, and look, V gets it because City have to do this a lot. I remember a time where we played Arsenal in the Fergie era, and we had some injuries as well, and it was an FA Cup game, and I wanted to win it. And I'd actually gone to watch Leyton Orient earlier on that day with my family. It was like a family weekend, and we're leaving the ground to go and to watch the game. My brother goes, "You seen your team?" I went, "No." He started Rafael and Fabio da Silva in midfield. And I was like, oh, no. We went on to win the game, right? But this is what happens. You have to do this. And I just think it's a learning curve for Arsenal fans. Giuseppe, what did you make of Arsenal today?
Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Yeah, no, I thought we were all right. I think that everyone seems to want to jump on Arsenal, apparently getting these sort of results when City and Liverpool both done the same sort of performances today, digging in deep and getting a win. That's what you do when you're challenging for a title. I think players stepped up. I think the rotation was necessary. Obviously, there's frailties at the back right now for us, but I don't think it's coincidental that Ben White ain't been there and we've looked a bit more fragile at the back. I think people are going to start seeing when he comes back how pivotal he is to how solid we are at the back. Saka again, and this is why I say sometimes he needs to get the respect he deserves, and he does. But I think the fact is, it's not even the GA. Everyone will go, "Oh, the same GA as Palmer," or "I think he's got one less than Palmer," and all this. It ain't about that for me. It's the fact that in every single game this season, he has GA. Apart from the Leicester game, which arguably it was the corner that he put in that got deflected. That when it's like kind of a GA in a sense, it's not, but it is. That's what I love about Saka. He's been stepping up. Odegaard's been out. We've got to remember, Odegaard's out. Like, this is why sometimes I feel like in these games we're finding it harder to break down these low blocks, because arguably the guy that breaks them down the best for us isn't on the pitch, and he's our captain as well, and he's such a pivotal player. obviously we're getting the results and we're getting the goals. But I never thought, I was never in doubt today. Obviously, as well, people got to remember Southampton are a bogey team, man. These guys always seem to play good against us, like always. And I think they need credit as well today. I know you said before we all joined that their defense in the first half was quality. I thought they'd done everything they needed to do in the first half. Yes, we could have been a bit better and a bit more cutting edge, but for what they were doing enough to keep us at bay. And then anything can happen in the second half. But we done what we had to do. Martinelli, I said it once the game finished, he's back. And when I say he's back, I'm not trying to say GA is going to go score lots of goals. I mean his confidence. You see it when he plays, man. He's a different player. From the first few games, and it's not just this game, it's the last 3 Premier League games. The City game, the Leicester City game, and this game, Southampton. The way he's playing, he's back, like the confidence, the going around players, the being a nuisance up top. So I'm happy with everything, to be honest. I thought Arteta had done the right thing. I thought Partey was all right back. Calafiori, quality. I see a lot of people trying to doubt Calafiori. The way he controls the ball and the way he plays with his feet, like
people are doing single event analysis on him in games. So 2 games running, I've seen him get, like, not 2 games running, that's a lie. Salvio skinned him early in the game against City, and that, I don't remember the name of the young lad today, once got round him and beat him. But it's a case of, so he's amazing the whole game. His ability on the ball is brilliant. He can use both feet. He gets twined up once, by each time, by the way, it's been by very talented players. And it's, see, that there, right there is why I think he's bad. That for me is just built from hatred. That isn't how you're meant to assess football players it's a bit, that's like watching Haaland score loads of goals and then he misses a chance and you go, see, I fucking knew he weren't that good. It's weird, it's proper strange in my opinion to behave like that. We are going to get, sorry, go on, Miguel, and then I'm going to,
I was just going to say, everyone who's saying, oh my God, Southampton made it close, they respected us more than they respected any opponent they played this season. They changed the way they played. The manager all season was talking about how he's going to stick to his principles and not change. He slightly tweaked the way that he played, showing a lot more respect to us than he's shown any opponent this entire season. And that's a credit to how good of a team we are, and that managers have to change slightly their principles to try to even get something out of these kind of games.
It wasn't to be fair, though.
So go on, mate. Go on.
No, I was going to say, to be fair, they did try to play out that back, and especially in that first half a few times, we did catch him out. So I think it was just the lack of penetration. I mean, we were all full play that first half, like, with no real threat. There was no real kind of there was no real danger. We were just, it was eerily close to what PSG offered us in terms of we held on to the ball, but we did nothing with it. And I felt like it was only once that they scored did we go up, and we went up another level and we actually stuck it on them. And I think, that's probably more of a reflection of us maybe playing in year one and not taking it too seriously in some respects. But I wouldn't say they were defensive all of a sudden and they didn't try it. They abandoned their principles altogether.
I don't think the game was close. It's just because a team scores a goal against a run of play and you have to kind of come back from that. I don't think it makes a football match close. Arsenal had more of the ball, had an abundance more of chances, also scored 3 goals to their 1. I mean, beating someone 3 goals to 1 isn't even a close scoreline. I don't think it was close in any capacity. There was just a moment where they clipped you on the chin. You've seen that in boxing fights, someone's dominating, they get caught suddenly on the chin, they go down, you got up and then knock the guy out. That's not a close fight still, in my view. Mo, as a neutral, what did you make? I don't know which game you watched, whether you watched the Arsenal or the City game or both. We will touch on City, but what was your thoughts on Arsenal's comeback today? You're on mute, bro. I muted you earlier because your mic was making a noise. Sorry, go on.
Everyone that said that Arsenal fans were not worried earlier, they were worried. Look at the tweets. Look at everybody was worried. You, Igal, are different. You're different. You're just built different. But everyone was worried. I know that everyone was worried. Gunnar Sulz was worried. I know that. I know the people that look at this game, they were worried. Arsenal in the first.
No, we all knew we were going to win, though. That we weren't worried.
Yes,
the problem, changes can be made.
The problem is for me that Arsenal were emphatic today in the second half. That 35 minutes you played, you created abundance of chances. But I'm looking at the first 55 minutes. And if there was another team that went 1-0 up, it could have been tougher, right? Arsenal looked good going forward, yes, but you still lack that cutting edge sometimes. You should have been away in this game earlier because Southampton, as you guys said, changed the way they played. and you ripped them apart. They tried to play from the back and they weren't successful. But I want Arsenal to be more comfortable. In these games, Arsenal should be more comfortable. That 35 minutes, brilliant. Bukayo Saka, clutch, close to world class, arguably one of the best right wing, one of the best touchline wingers in the world, like hands down. That far post cross, the setup to Partey in the first half, which created the only chance for Arsenal in the first half. My problem with Arsenal is that I'm watching Arsenal. I should be on my phone, not at the edge of my seat in the first 45 minutes, especially against Southampton. Especially, I'm going to have the same energy for City. City fans were worried, bro. They were panicking. But Arsenal, I get what you're saying. You go, we were going to win at the end. And I know you were worried in the first half. I know, and that because you didn't create the difference.
No, Mo, you're conflating two things, though. Criticizing the team for certain elements of the game, like our finishing was bad, isn't as worrying. It's
not finishing. Here is the difference. In the Leicester game, and Terry came here and said, freaking Arsenal created 10 clear-cut chances. Arsenal should have been 3-0 up in the first half, right? Southampton defended well, but you didn't create enough chances. You didn't. You had opportunities to create chances. There were some missed passes. In the first half, you looked brilliant, right? After the 55th minute. I am looking at the first half, and I'm like, you should have created more chances. You should have actually been peppering their goals because they weren't good. They defended a little bit better, but again, you should have created more chances. But again, I'm gonna just say this: Terry titled this as Champions Wins. Yes, it is. When you're 1-0 down at home, when everyone is nervous, and you score 3 goals like this, that's a Champions win. And I knew at 2-1 you were gonna win the game. This Arsenal team look resilient and look different than the Arsenal team of last season, the season before, right? They are adaptable. They defend well. I know that they scored against you with a deflection of Saliba's foot. Yes, I'm not going to criticize the defense today, actually. It's different than the Leicester City game. That goal that they scored, Raheem Sterling is a bozo. We all know that. Everyone knows this now. He holds too much to the ball. But again, I'm going to say this. Arsenal, if you're watching this game, you know that Arsenal aren't going anywhere. I'm going to echo what Igal said. They aren't going anywhere. They're going to win a lot of games, right? But I'm waiting for Arsenal to be 3-0, 2-0 up in the first half. I want to watch Arsenal being on my phone and instead of, oh my God, they scored again. I'm not, because I want Arsenal or Liverpool to win the league. I don't want to watch Man City win 5 in a row. No neutral wants that. No neutral wants this. That is my take on this game. Bukayo Saka needs to get more praise than the media. They are still doubting him, bro. They let someone tweet it from a big account that the goal he scored was a mistake. What about the right foot finish then? Why people look at Bukayo Saka and nitpick the negatives instead of the positive?
He's going through the arc that not just football players, but most celebrities go through in England, which is they build you up and they try and knock you down. And most of our stars, especially footballers, have been through this. When Beckham was breaking through, he was the nation's sweetheart. And it wasn't just the red card. People forget this. There were stories in the lead up to the World Cup about him being arrogant and petulant and, just having the stuff written about him and his girlfriend at the time, his now wife, Posh Spice, was crazy. He then gets the red card, and it was the media that were literally giving pubs the men to hang outside and stuff. It was crazy, right? You fast forward all these years and then he's loved again. He's never been a different person. He's always been the same. And Saka is going through a period now where everything he does is being scrutinized to a level. They are probably sitting there, some of these journalists, hoping he does something crazy, drink driving, has a fight with his girlfriend, or, that does something, gets sent off in a big England game. They want him to, so they can crucify him. And I've seen it before. And when you start seeing someone play well and score goals, and then people look to try and take it away from them, it's crazy, right? Because I heard a commentator I was listening to. You need me to come get the dog? Okay. I'm going to hand over to Dio to give us his say. I've got to go and get my dog because it's going mental apparently. So give me a sec.
Yeah, man. Today's game, honestly speaking, like Mo, when Arsenal fans say they're not worried, Mikel Arteta has built a team now, right, that we know is going to find a way to win or not to lose, regardless of what happens. That's how confident I am about this Arsenal team. I think when fans are now saying, oh, we want to see them score more goals, 5-0, 6-0, they're moving the goalpost. When Arsenal was doing that last season and the season before, playing all-out football and not winning anything, people criticized us. Now we're being a lot more pragmatic in the way we play. We conceded a goal, fair enough. We came back and won 3-1 emphatically, dominating the game entirely. So for me, when I hear people say, "Oh, yeah," like I wasn't worried. This Mikel Arteta's team, this Arsenal, will find a way to win, or will find a way to just not lose that game. We did it against City. We did it against Brighton, and you can see it. This is 14 wins on the bounce at the Emirates since the loss to Aston Villa. Consistently, so I wasn't worried. One goal down, I was just like, you know what? Worst case scenario, we'll get a draw. Like that's what I said to myself. Like, worst case?
Yeah,
No,
I wanted to ask you that question, Dio. Sorry, dog situation. So it was a delivery driver, and the dog don't like him. So, and the kids were getting scared. But it's good. I was like, this is what he's here for. He's a guard dog. He's meant to do this. I want to ask you: are you getting to that point when I see City concede a goal? My instant reaction is they're still going to win this game.
They're still going to win the game.
Are you getting that way with your team now, where even if you concede,
that's how I felt today.
Especially at home, you still feel you're going to win?
That's exactly how I felt today. It was just like, okay, fine, we've conceded. I'm like, yeah, we're going to score. Like, I just knew we're going to score. It wasn't the case of arrogance. It's because, again, it's Southampton. Of course, if it was a team like City that we were playing at the Emirates and we're one goal down, I'll worry more because you're playing a better team. If it's a Liverpool, you'd worry a little more. Southampton, I felt, you know what? They're a bogey team. They haven't been in the league for, they've not been in the Premiership for how long? They're back now. They should not be our bogey team anymore because the people that they were bogey for, we sold all of them. All the players that used to be bogeys for them are all gone. So for
me, they drew with us when we didn't win the league 2 seasons.
I know that's what I'm saying. I'm saying they were out. They drew with us. They got relegated. I said since they got relegated, they're back now. They should not be a bogey team anymore for us. We should look at them as a championship team that is coming up because guess what? The players that they had in the Premiership, when they got relegated, some of those players got sold. They got newer players. They got a new manager. It's a totally different setup for them. So that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be, in quote, it should not be. So for me, I wasn't really worried about, the setup. The only thing I looked at was the initial lineup. And I was like, well, I understand rotation. So fair enough. But Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus did not live up to par. Kai Havertz, my man of the match. Forget it. Like
over Saka.
Hold on, I'm coming. Kai Havertz, my man of the match. Saka did what a captain had to do today, and Saka played levels. Saka always plays levels. Saka has literally had G and A in every game he's played in. Literally. So you're expecting him to play at that level. You're always expecting Saka to at least step up. Kai Havertz is the player who everybody has downtrodden, trashed, said crap about, consistently said, oh, he's a donkey, he's not good enough. Why did we buy him? 65 million down the drain, all the blah, the blah, the blah. And in every game so far, Kai Havertz has also stepped up. I mean, there was a time where he tackled in the middle of the pitch, fell to the ground, lost the ball, but still stretched out and made a pass. And so for me, at the end of the day, I think this Arsenal team, again, I'm just going to say one last time, is Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. I am more confident now about my team going into any game. And I think any team that we play against will find a way to either win or just not to lose. And that's the most important thing.
Can I come to say, as a neutral, I actually get what Terry's saying. You guys are Arsenal fans. Some of you are City fans. I have this feeling with City. They're going to win. I don't know why I don't have that feeling with Arsenal. It's PTSD. Watching this Arsenal team, it is PTSD. The West Ham game, the Aston Villa game of last season. I still don't have the utmost confidence that maybe this is the time. This is why when I come to the football terrace and when I do the actions, I say I want to see Arsenal more stamping their authority in terms of the scoreline. I have this City belief that they're going to win the games. If they lose, it will be an outlier. But I still have maybe because you didn't win the league in the last 2 seasons. You guys are Arsenal fans. You get to feel this and you guys are enthusiastic about the team. Me looking from outside, I'm a neutral. I don't have that feeling like you. I look, I'm sitting with
but that's the difference though. As an Arsenal fan, I'm daily in my app looking at Arsenal. I'm looking at our old team. I'm looking at players. You're watching it and you're enjoying the game and you're expecting this stamp your authority, which is fair enough from a neutral. I totally understand that. But as a fan, I can tell you that I have seen a 360 turnaround in my club. This Arsenal team 3 seasons ago will lose this game. This Arsenal team 4 seasons ago will lose this game. Badly, in fact. This Arsenal, a few seasons ago, would never have been able to come back from that 1-0. Never.
So excuse me if I have PTSD then.
I know,
Excuse me,
but that's
Happy
but I'm
TSD.
saying, no, but that's what I'm saying. For me, I've seen a 360 turn in this team, and I'm now at the point where it's like I know they're going to come back and win. I just know it.
Just
Can
that
we
balance
also
later on,
acknowledge
yeah?
one thing? Arteta in the past would linger, maybe make one substitution. Arteta realized that the game needed a certain change, and he made that change, and that's really what set us off to go score the next 2 goals. Martinelli coming on, of course, we've seen the shift in how we played, and we had a lot more of a clinical finisher. I'm not making fun of Raheem Sterling as much as you are, but he could have scored easily in that first half. Also, it's just, unfortunately, he missed that opportunity. But when Martinelli came on and we had that extra firepower off the bench, that's why we made these transfers in the summer. And rotation, Arteta might have made changes to start the game. It might not have been the perfect lineup because of all the games that we played, but he made the right decisions and the right changes to help us win this game. So as much as
I
we
find it
credit the
interesting
players,
because
manager deserves credit.
Guys, I just sorry, Nave. Just interest of time. I want to speak a bit on City as well. We've got a lot of Arsenal super chats, so we'll have more Arsenal chat in the show later. Hamza, some people calling City lucky today. I don't think you were personally. You nearly always come through these games, but how did you see it personally, brother?
I think that's what champions are made of. I think when you win 4 in a row, there's a reason why. You know you're not scared to win. You expect to win. You can take a 2-0 lead, 1-0 lead. How many times have we seen City 1-0 down, lucky? You don't win lucky. You don't win it like that. Pep Guardiola does it. He's not lucky. He's not by chance. When you're great, Terry, you're just overconfident. And it often happens because City are very confident coming to a season. Beginning, they often falter. We saw them last year, the season before that, when they lost to Brentford. And they were drawing to the likes of Crystal Palace, who were 2-0 up last year. And City fans were pulling their hair. But it's Pep Guardiola. It's simple. It's relaxed. It's relaxed settings. It's like Real Madrid. They can be 1-0 up. They can be 1-0 down, 2-0 down. You know the remontada is going to come back. Same as City. Those are the 2 teams that you know. Yeah, I just knew straight away there's full of leadership there. Lions. My players are full. Lions completely. They know. Bro, as soon as Fulham went 1-0 up, I thought, I've seen it before. Brentford did it. You're going to get slapped. And to me, I like the way they played today because they grinded result out. Rather than, we thrashed them. Like today, the feeling is Kovacic, what a performance. Chelsea fans are saying, oh, Hamza, do you regret Cole Palmer? Do you regret Kovacic? Because you got Enzo in midfield. You spent 200 million in midfield. Yeah, you spent 200 million and sold a guy for 20 million. And he's playing that like this. He's got me already 3 goals. I'm weak without Rodri. They said it's Rodri FC. Now it's becoming Kovacic FC, is it? So Kovacic there shows me why he's an elite midfielder. Comes there as a leader. Say, Hamza, don't worry. Rodri ain't here. KDB ain't here, but I'm here. Takes that responsibility and say, I will get you the goals. 2 goals. And you know what? I'll give credit to Pep. Because sometimes you lose the hunger. How many times? This is why elite managers are respect Ferguson and Pep, because you lose the hunger. You win 3 or 4. How do you again motivate these guys? How does it? Because Terry, I've won games sometimes like 7 games in an amateur side, and I become arrogant and say these guys are shit. I'm gonna beat them, but these guys are still hungry, and I'm thinking Fulham are a top team there that they hardly lose. City have gone 50 games unbeaten. 50 games unbeaten. Deep it. 50 games unbeaten at home. 30 games they've gone unbeaten overall. 50 at home. 50. People say Bernabeu is scary. People say Bernabeu is scary. Etihad, I've always told people, Etihad is intimidating. Etihad is a different level. If you come and get a win at Etihad, what do you think Arsenal players fell to the floor? They thought, oh my God, it's going to be a historic win. Oh my God, at last, I can't believe it. I'm going to have to tell my children one day, I've won at Etihad. Draw. So that's why I say, at Etihad, we don't lose. To get a draw is a disgrace. Today's performance, I give credit to every City players. Like, you did well today. And some City fans are upset because they're saying, we are lucky. Lucky. It's Adam Traore's fault. He went through on goal like a fool, missing those chances. Yeah, it's his fault. Yeah, how many times he shouldn't be giving those chances? To me, I'm seeing City played Fulham, win comfortably. I'm seeing Arsenal play the bottom side. That Man United beat Southampton 3-0. Man United, that Terry classes, Ten Hag out. Ten Hag won 3-0 at their home. No one talked about, Bruno Fernandes world class. No. You're already bringing, Saka's world class because he scored against Southampton. I'm thinking, bro, world class. I just wanted to answer that question because that upset me. World class, the definition of world class, you ask people who've watched football for a long time. You don't create your own definition because you're Gen Z generation. I create because I'm a Gen Z and I saw Ricky Lambert. I'm sorry. People saw Zidane. People saw Seydorf. They saw Edgar Davids. They never even used to call David Beckham world class. And David Beckham was winning games in the Champions League final, 99. 99 by himself.
Let it go, Terry.
That wins them the Champions League final.
David Beckham was called world class. What are you talking about?
I know. Let it go.
World class definition is you're the best. I'll put you in the pedestal with those guys. I name you. If I call Zidane world class, can you imagine? You name Zidane and Romario and Ronaldo and Rivaldo and Ronaldo, and then you call the guy that's not won a Premier League world class. Really have some, I'm thinking, people don't have shame, literally. People don't have, do you know how many world class players I've got? I said Haaland, KDB, Rodri, before we won the Champions League. Then I put Bernardo there. Last year, Foden is just about getting there. Foden, because of he carried me to the league. And he was that instrumental. Saka, boy, Foden's got 6 Premier Leagues. I didn't call him world class. Why should I call your guy world class? That means if I call Saka world class, I'm bringing Doku, Buemo's coming through.
I'm enjoying the rant, but I do want to say I tried to get off of Arsenal so we can speak a bit about City. You've taken it straight back to Arsenal, which is, I just want to make sure no one accuses me of making this bit about Arsenal. V, do you agree with Hamza that today was just normal, or do you feel as though it was you were a bit lucky today? How do you see it, mate?
No, I definitely don't see it as luck. Although we were playing a 6th place Fulham, so it was going to be a challenging game. And Traore's always seemed to take a sensu bean or something before the match and give us problems. So he was he had a chance. He had a chance to score often actually against us, and Ederson stood well as keeper and defended and kept the ball out of the net. I think that the deflection to make the game a lot more tense was unfortunate, but I was really happy with how we played, because again, this is Fulham. It's not Southampton in terms of what we had to deal with today. But when some City fans are concerned, it's because we aren't free flowing yet. We don't. Rodri's gone is going to be impactful on the squad, and we're not going to have that rhythm in terms of how we break teams down, how we score. But I thought Kovacic had a fantastic game. He was man of the match for a reason. He did his best Rodri impersonation as he could, and those goals arriving at the top of the 18-yard box late, taking his chances, we're going to need a lot more of that. So we deserve this win. We deserved it. Our attack, though, Terry, we need to be a lot braver. We need to be a lot braver in our attack. We need to release some passes and give Haaland a chance to make defenders defend him. Release the ball and see how the defenders react. Maybe a second chance ball could be there. Maybe there's an opportunity for someone else to get in on goal. But I'm cool with this. Going into the international break, Death's made of wood, knocking on it. I just pray that we go into this international break, out of this international break, healthy. Because there's a reason why this league is a 3-horse race again with Arsenal and Liverpool, and it's because of injuries at City. So, yeah, we need to be healthy.
Actually, City struggled in both aspects of the game today. The attack was not good enough, and the defense was not good enough. Ederson is the only one that deserves praise, him and Kovacic. Everyone else was below par in my opinion, apart from Doku. I'm talking about the starting lineup. If it wasn't for Ederson today, Man City would have been 3-0 down. By the way,
I think Diaz was good as well defensively.
Diaz, I cannot praise your defense when Fulham at the Etihad had 5 clear-cut chances. I can't, like, you see
It's
my
not just-
point here.
yeah,
I
but-
can't
but
sit
Mo,
here
Mo,
on
Mo,
match
Mo.
reaction, Jay. How?
No. But Mo, this is why I mentioned our midfield. Our midfield connection, I think, is why we're getting these attacking opportunities against us, because I'm missing there's a disconnect. Because yes, Traore or the wingers are getting down the pitch, but notice that these cutbacks or these balls that are brought back to the midway or top of the 18-yard box, they're falling onto the other players keeping up with the play, running down. And Kova, Gundogan, those gaps. That's what I'm concerned of, because it's falling to their feet. It's falling to those portions of the pitch where they have shots on net. I can't really kill our defense.
No. It's not about the
But Mason,
midfield
do
as
not
much
play
as
like
about
that
the-
beginning of
It's
season.
about the defense, guys. Like Ricole was 1-on-1. Of course, couldn't keep with Traore. Jimenez was having sometimes a field day receiving the ball and turning and making fouls. And I thought City's defense wasn't good today. The attack, you guys can say whatever you like. Bernardo Silva needs to be benched. Needs to be benched. Bernardo Silva needs to
How
be
can
benched.
you drop for a world-class player?
Exactly.
Like, guys that depend on him.
Exactly. That's you just name.
Wait, you mean defensively he needs to be benched, or what he was doing?
Bernardo,
today?
Bernardo Silva should not play on the wing for City. It should be Savinho or Doku, somebody else.
Wow, I thought
Right?
he created a lot for us today on
No,
that wing.
I think you need the Savinho guys. In my opinion, City. The thing about you play at the Etihad, you're inevitable. You're gonna win games. But again, in my opinion, City today didn't look good. I thought you got away with one. I
But
really
Mo,
thought you got
are they
away
not
with
always like this beginning of season? Crystal Palace, they were 2-0 up. They
Yeah.
came back 2-2. This is
But
City.
I'm going to
beginning.
tell you the difference. This season, Arsenal and Liverpool might not give you the chance to come back. Might not give you the chance. If you look at the way people talk about Arsenal and Liverpool had their best start under a new manager ever.
You
Right?
saw how they played today against Crystal Palace.
Away from home, winning 1-0. They should have been 2-0 up in the first half. 100%. Bro, Liverpool went to Crystal Palace. They had 80% position at Crystal Palace half.
Yes, but
In the
isn't it not
Palace, you see it
concerning
there,
that they
Mo.
weren't able to score?
Okay, in my opinion, unless, okay, and let me ask City fans a question. Unless you guys think that Arsenal are naive, as you guys mentioned about them last season, do you guys think that if you keep doing this and you wait until the end of the season to click into gear, you will be able to catch? If Arsenal keep winning like this, if Liverpool keep winning, do you guys believe these two teams are naive to let go of a lead if they create a lead for themselves? Do you see this Arsenal team as naive? As you, Hamza, called them naive last season.
You're right, Mo. That part I agree with you. The part that I agree with you that City must go in the transfer
That's my
market.
point.
Like 90
That's
days
it.
ago, 90 days.
No.
And today they need to go and get that Torino midfielder that I'm watching.
Here you go.
Whatever it is.
Here you go.
So we
Finally,
need
you're
to get that
getting
Rodri
back.
back up.
You're worried
By
because
January.
this
Yeah,
Arsenal team and
Mo.
Liverpool team don't look
Mo,
the
but
same.
we got
That
2
is
games
the
at
point.
heart. Mo, how can you be worried when you won 4 in a row? Mo, how can you be worried?
It's
Listen, but can't we
every
be
goal is
objective
different.
though? Like as City fans, can't you guys be objective? You had 2 1-on-1s, yeah, with
It's
Adama
objective.
Traore
Yes, but it happens.
running through on goal. Hold on, let me speak. Yeah, you had 2. Adama Traore ran through your defense twice, and he also had a cutback. Right, that's not usual of City to be opened up like that.
And he
at home,
admitted that.
right?
He
So,
admitted
look,
this.
You can
He's
say it's
admitting
a
this.
good. You can say it's a good win. No one's saying it and be miserable that you've won, but you can also sit there and say, well, defensively, whether it's the defensive structure, whether it's the midfield and the defense not being in tandem, whatever the case may be, defensively we were open today, and we need to make sure that's not an issue going forward, because if that is, it's going to be a tricky run to get all the way up to January if our defense and midfield are moving like that. That's all that's been said on the panel. No one's sitting here saying that City are a horrible team now and can't
Because
defend.
I think what happens a lot, and so it's nice sitting back and listening, is these are full fan highlight shows. It's talking about that game individually. Sometimes the point will be, you don't want to see this continue, but criticizing a problem within a particular game, I think very different from saying City are crap, aren't they? City can't defend. We know City can defend, but they're just, and I think sometimes when it comes to match reaction style shows, people just almost, the conversation ends up always going to it's meant to be a bit of a macro conversation. Sorry, a bit of a micro conversation about what's going on, rather than a macro view of everything that is going on. I want to jump to some of these super chats, gents, because interest of time. This year says Mo is right. Bernardo on the right wing experiment is over. It doesn't work. We need Doku or Salvio on the right wing every game. More Silva back to his real position in midfield. The 2 goals you let in were in the penalty box. They should be worrying, right? I don't know what that means.
City fans, like
City
they
fans
should
be
be
worried.
worried that they are conceding crosses
conceding
and
goals, yeah.
chances. They are conceding chances inside the area. It's not
That
like a long
Rodri.
shot or a fluke goal like last season.
That
when we
Rodri,
were
Rodri normally
exposed.
would drop that position.
But that
He's
okay,
right.
so you have to, Hamza, you have to live that there is no Rodri. Go ahead, Terry. You have to live. There's no Rodri.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
but
no.
the point is-
I agree. It's not just I get that. If Hamza was a mate of mine, I'd change his name in my phone to Waffle. Okay, fair enough.
Waffle for 4
Terry,
years,
I
you know,
keep
for
saying
eight-
this.
for 4 years.
Okay, all right. Let's just keep it respectful. Havertz and then Martinelli were clinical today. Havertz's chance, especially to equalise, is what everyone wants, £100 million striker to be bought for. Listen, I'm not saying Arsenal couldn't do with more goal scorers. I'm going to say this again, though. Right now, only City by 2 have more goals in the league than Arsenal. It's Arsenal's criticism around goals. I understand why you would want go out and buy an even better striker than what you've got. I get that. But the way people talk as if where are the goals coming from? This is a team who 2 years running have broken their Premier League goal scoring record, who are the second highest goal scorers in the league so far this season. And it's not that you can't do with extra firepower. It's the way people try and spin it into just don't see where the goals are coming from. That is such weird analysis of a team that keeps breaking its goal scoring records. It's strange. If Villa and Chelsea win tomorrow, we have 5 teams within 2 points of each other at the top, which makes this race exciting. And yes, I'm putting those 2 in the race. But in terms of building towards the end of the season, it is exciting, Josh. I agree with you with that bit 100%. I don't want Villa to win tomorrow. But if both do win, it's gonna be amazing. City was wasting time after they scored the second goal from Fulham, but cried when Arsenal did it with 10 men. All the love to TFT from Saudi Arabia. Big up yourself over there in Saudi Arabia. But remember,
was he an Arsenal fan? Was he watching the City game? Was he watching Arsenal?
Oh my
game?
god,
That's very interesting.
Well, I had both on. Why couldn't he?
Yeah, I watched both.
What is the
I don't know
problem
how
with
you-
you, Hamza? It's like-
I don't know how you are able to watch.
I don't know how you
both
watch both. You got
games.
two eyes.
As a fan of your
I
team.
tell you how I'm able to watch both. The Tanta Sports, which I use. You have both games are up on the screen at exactly.
No.
the same
As a
time.
neutral, I get it, but as a fan, I can't. Yeah.
That means a world.
I love the
Yeah,
game, man.
yeah, but you
know
also, but what you don't need to watch the City game like this, like an anorak. But you would know if they were time wasting because people get booked.
No.
Yeah.
I know, but having I couldn't have 2 screens on watching City in another game. That's all.
I hear you. Rotating players is necessary, but 3 players which caused Havertz to play deeper and Partey at right back. Creativity was lacking. It was frustrating. What did you make about the rotation side of things today, Jason? We haven't heard from you yet.
Nah, I was still frustrated, to be honest. I can't see when the lineups happened. I felt very strange because Partey at right back, and then we had Jorginho coming into the fold, and Jesus is still playing. Like, I feel like when I see Jesus these days, I just want him to be sold this January ASAP because he ain't good enough to lead us in this title race. But it is what it is. It's one of those things where I found it really strange, but at the same time, like, we should rotate, but not too much. I feel like we rotated too much, and it cost the game till like 54 minutes when we were 1-0 down. And with that the usual subs, yeah, it kind of like the usual starters in the team kind of changed the game. So it's one of those things where I don't know. The team lineup looks a bit off.
But that's why we can rotate in these games against Southampton, because we still won 3-1, bro. It was a successful rotation. I get what you're saying, but it was successful from Arteta because he rotated and we got 3 points. That's why these are the games you have to do it in. These Southamptons at home and stuff. Another day we scored in the first half. Do you know what I mean? I get what you're saying, 100%.
But then again, you know that team, that starting 11, first half, it felt a bit dry. We got our first shot on target on 47 minutes. Like, come on, man! It's just sideways here and there. Like, it was boring football, man. First half, one of those put me to sleep.
And the reality is that if we were to get any injuries, we need players to have minutes in their legs. We need players to build up confidence, right? Unfortunately, Jesus never performed. Sterling wasn't as bad as Jesus, but still wasn't good enough. But you need these players to be ready in case of any injuries as well. So you can't just have them on the
Yeah.
outskirts and neglect them. And then
Can
all of
Rice play
you get
DM
there.
from now on? Then can Rice play DM now? Because Moreno's is integrated. Can Rice play DM now? And this can this left 8 stop now and just play DM and just do it, bro? Like, come on, now.
Bro. You know what? For me, that's been the biggest issue. I mean, Rice at left. When you have Rice at left 8, he always has to come inside, and it narrows the pitch and it narrows the way in which we play. And when he went back into DM and we had Moreno, a natural left foot in that left 8, it looked a bit more fluid. You have players that can overlap.
Balanced as well.
So for me, and also you have someone who can work on the transitions as well. Like Rice is someone who covers ground. So you got someone who can track back and help keep that defense a bit more stable. Whereas if you have Jorginho and Partey athletically, Partey's declined. Jorginho's never been there athletically. So for me, I've been dying to see that, and it was nice and refreshing to see that change, because that's the starting 11 that we were kind of all hoping for in the summer window.
I was agreeing with Mo as well. So in terms of just like, Arsenal fans were panicking before the game, or like, here and there, I kind of agree with Mo because because we always had that PTSD as well, like before as years gone by, and looking at this team starting 11, it wasn't as perfect.
Do you know what's interesting though about PTSD? And I can't speak for all cases because I'm not a clinical psychologist, but everyone knows I've spoken about it a lot about my anxiety issues. And I have little moments sometimes. I was walking my dog earlier today and he saw another dog and I pulled him hard. But as I did it, I kind of twisted my hand and I got a pain in my arm. And PTSD kicked in because for a while when I had this sort of cardiophobia, getting a pain in my left arm would almost trigger a panic attack because it was like left arm pain. You get left arm pain when you're having a heart attack and everything else. But what I've learned is that the PTSD is trying to make me in my brain is trying to make me have a panic attack. But the reason I'm not falling for it is because I know that my heart's okay. And I think it's about Arsenal fans. I get why you get that feeling, but just like my situation, it isn't real. My heart's fine. You're not really in a bad situation because you can see that I kind of getting nervous if it's 0-0 and Southampton scored in the 85th minute because there isn't long to win the game. But when they scored in like the 60th minute, for me, if you don't believe in Arteta and don't believe in your team, it's not PTSD. It's I don't think the team's good enough. I think we're going to lose now. I respect that because it makes sense. But if you truly believe that your team is excellent and will come back from most of these situations, you've got to ignore that initial gut feeling, that PTSD, and maintain the faith. I just see some people that I don't get them. They praise Arteta all the time. They rate this team and squad. One little setback in a game, and they go on like a tyrant rant online. And I just think that's weird to me. I don't. Do you know where I'm coming from?
The difference is, Terry, the difference with me, the jury is still out with Arteta. That's what I'm saying. I'm still having that jury itself. So I'm not saying that I do still praise Arteta for his work and stuff like that. Thank you for bringing us forward for where we are after 20 years. But I still have that PTSD where, you know what, where imagine we kind of like,
but is that because Jason, you don't truly believe in this squad and manager? Or is it or because PTSD, again, I mean, looking at it from my perspective here, it's when you get people have PTSD like when they've been to a war zone, when they're walking, they might be walking down the street and there's a loud bang. They're not in a war zone, but they think they are. But it's not real, right? So,
of course.
Is it that you think you're bad when you're not, PTSD, or do you not think your team is as good as maybe other Arsenal fans think? Which is it? Is it PTSD or is it real?
In a way, it's both. In a way,
it would be real because you had the results of last season that hampered them from winning the league, right? So it's a little bit of doubt.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's about how an individual feels. I'm not trying to catch anyone out. I'm just trying to ascertain. As again, when Arsenal conceded today, the same as City, I didn't think either were losing. In fact, I went straight when Arsenal conceded. I went chance to make a bit of money. I went straight and put a £500 bet on them to win from there because now the odds went to even because they went 1-0 down. Great. Same as when City went 1-0 down. I went and stuck a couple of £100 on City to come back and win because I believe they would. Does that make sense? So I know I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I'm not emotional in that way. But I see some Arsenal fans online. All they do is praise what's going on. One little setback in a game or a player. Player got injured the other week. Season's over. Odegaard's out.
Terry,
what are you talking about?
It's not if he's right. If they haven't won anything from this manager for many years, and you had managers like Xabi Alonso going to Bayern, Leverkusen, got the league title. But then this guy has been here for 3 years. He's struggling to win the league. Obviously, it makes sense He knows this guy hasn't delivered.
Exactly.
He
That's
hasn't
what I'm
delivered
saying.
it at all. And he's seeing managers who've won the league from nowhere. Even probably a Conte might go to Napoli this year and he delivers another league title to Napoli. And then he looks, to me, Arsenal.
They're not
this
against that
year
team
is
that
the
you rate as
biggest.
highly as you
That's
rate
why it makes
yourself, though,
sense.
Hamza.
Yeah.
Go on, Giuseppe.
I just want to say, by the way, people saying show the receipts, right? Some people say that I say praise Arsenal, but I don't really believe it. My camera's on manual focus, but I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. It's gonna take.
blurry.
It'll be too bright.
It's too bright. Let me hang on. Let me turn the brightness of my screen down. Yeah, it's there, but it's there. It's on my betting app. You can see it there. There we go. There you can see it on the betting app. I went and did it because again, if I really didn't rate this Arsenal team, would I go and risk five? I mean, in fairness, it's only money that I've won in my betting account. Would I go and risk that if I didn't believe in them? No, I wouldn't just, tweeting something and saying something on camera is one thing, but where I always say in life, and not everybody gambles, so that's fair, and do your own thing, but you put your money where your mouth is in this world. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just think some people's reactions I find interesting. Let's go back to these super chats. Terry, we are all know you're an undercover Arsenal fan. I mean, but that's just, listen, the people that spread that are just, do you know what it is? It's not being able to argue the points that I'm making. That's all it comes down to.
But Terry, you back them so much.
Do you know what it is, Terry?
So much.
Do you know what it is?
I haven't though. Hang on, I haven't though.
No, but
so I haven't backed them. I have not predicted. The only time in the last 2.5 years I predicted them to win the league is when they went 8 points clear. I said I think they'll win the league from here. At the beginning of last season and the beginning of this season, I didn't pick them to win the league. I haven't picked them to win the Champions League. How is that backing them more than City, who I say are the best team in the world, and I've backed them to do a 5p?
No,
I think part of it, for those that obviously tune into your shows, Terry, it's how you title your descriptions of matches for Arsenal and City, and that's how they sometimes infer how you support one club and not the other. And we get it with regards to how you may see two matches, but one you describe as scary or champions, and in the same day with a similar kind of result, you'll say, squeaked by or looked unimpressive.
But this is the thing, though. The first ever team that got called scary on the football terrace was in August 2019, and the title was Man City is Scary. The problem. I understand your point, but the difference is I don't see every game the same. So, for instance, if I look at a game and I do think a team was lucky, I'll say they were lucky. But I didn't. I looked at. I don't know who said it on the show, but if you look at City, Liverpool, and Arsenal today, I've said the same thing about all three of them. Today was what I call a champions victory, a champions win, where you're maybe not at your best, where you have some adversity, but you find a way of getting through the game. Because I viewed the matches, all different things happened in each game, but I viewed them in a very similar way as an example. Yep. But yes, I've called Arsenal scary. But I've called you the best. Hang on, stop. But I've called you the best team in the fucking world.
How are they scary? You can say Real Madrid are scary.
Again, but Hamza, watch my content. That is me giving an opinion from my perspective. As a Man United fan, when I said they were scary, we were in the mud with them at the same time. I watched them throughout pre-season and went, they are leaving us behind this year. That scared me from my perspective, because Arsenal, I think for Man United, a lot of Man United fans, there's always been a rivalry and banter. But when it comes to the social media time, they were a little bit of a comfort blanket for us, because they would always get more crap than us because they'd been in the banter era so long. Them leaving was like a crutch, because it meant that my team wasn't the so focused point, as an example. So when I give a personal opinion, I am talking about things from my perspective. Now, what have I always said about Arsenal being, to me, scary? I don't expect Madrid or City fans to find Arsenal scary because of how good you are and where you are at. It's just, I've never in my... The other funniest thing I love about the titles, is the amount of YouTubers that I've seen on camera slag them off that are now plagiarizing me and doing the exact same stuff. I find it, and this is where the YouTube world works a lot of the time. Somebody does something that gets traction, rightly or wrongly. It doesn't matter whether you like it or dislike it. Yeah. What people do is they copy it so they can also get the traction, but at the same time they slag off everyone else that does it. It's a very weird world, the YouTube world.
I was brought up in Kenya. We get told the lion is scary. You know a lion's gonna eat you. You know historically it's dangerous. is scary. Do you say Arsenal are not scary? They're like a rugby.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Hang on. I've got the example, and then we're going to move on.
Oh,
Give you hang on a minute. Okay, you right now, are you scared of a alley cat, a normal domestic cat?
Me, I'm scared of cats. Yeah.
So you're scared of a hang on. Sorry, you're not scared of a pussy cat like you're scared of a lion, though, are you?
I'm scared of a lion because I know lions.
Okay, just answer the question straightly. You're not scared of a pussy cat like you are a lion, right? No. But a mouse is.
Yeah.
The point is, Man United are a mouse right now. So the point is, we are tiny. A domestic cat is a lion to us.
I get it.
So this is the point I'm making. That's perspective in life. So it's crazy that people we do this. This happens all the time. Someone DM'd me the other night calling me a hypocrite, and what they actually were accusing me of is not having the same energies. Their view of what a hypocrite is that me and them disagree on a point. I'm like, that's not what a hypocrite is, my friend. He was like, no, you don't have the same energy for Arteta as you do Ten Hag. I'm like, well, I don't view them as the same person. I don't view their situations the same. Therefore, I don't have the same energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was explaining how they are the same. So, but that's your opinion. He went, yeah, but you're a hypocrite because you don't agree with it. I'm just like, the world's weird. But I've got to get back to these super chats anyway. I've got to get back to these. You said that's a lame. How is that a lame analogy about the cat? I think it's a brilliant analogy. But anyway,
Man United a mouse. What joke? You call yourself a biggest club in the world.
Before you move on, Terry,
but we are bigger than you. But right now, we are anyway. Look, no, I'm not. I've got to move on because I'm going to run out of time. The problem was the midfield, not Jesus and Sterling. We could have played Ethan and stuck Havertz up top, but instead Havertz kept coming into midfield. Thank you, Desmond. Terry, can I get to the on the panel for the Chelsea Arsenal game? I need to cook them Chelsea fans for calling Cole Palmer world class, but never recognizing Saka. Yeah, reach out to KJ and we'll get that sorted, bro. Pretty sure Henry scored 6 and Van Persie 7. I'm going by the graphic I saw on TV the other day. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't gone and looked it up myself. If Havertz scores in the next home game, he will have the outright record. Fair play to him. I think Mo might agree. Good for goals. Thinking about that clean sheet, it doesn't work all the time. Go for goals. Thinking about the clean sheet doesn't work all the time.
Sometimes, but Arsenal last season were the kings in the defense. That is the problem. But I'm not going to criticize the defense today at all. By the way, that goal. If Arsenal goal were peppered like Man City, we would sit here and say, "Yeah, Southampton created abundance." They didn't.
No, they certainly didn't. Brian here says Terry said Liverpool put in a champions performance today, same as Arsenal. People pick and choose. The problem is, Brian, I'll also get criticized for that from my haters. I'll say things like, I'm guessing now, I don't know what anyone said because I've been streaming, but you'll get someone that will say, but how many champions can you have? There'll be someone that will say something like that. It's the champions win. It's what champions do, as opposed to they're all champions. Having to explain this stuff's crazy. Well, yes. I mean, the thing is, it's the way all 3 teams won today is what I have seen every single Premier League champion do. The teams that lose these types of matches rarely become champions. So that's all it means. It doesn't mean literally the win makes you champions. I actually do think 99.9% of the viewers get it. The way Hamza waffles, he'd be a great best man at somebody's wedding. He can convince the bride she's marrying a goat. He is still a fraud, though. Big up Hamza. We love Hamza on the terrace. 2 goals. Oh, sorry, already said that. Already done that. Super chat. Not good enough today is what MCFC Solo says. Not good enough today, but us below average is still better than most teams. Take the 3 points and regroup during the international break. Pep needs to stop overthinking. It's time for all Arsenal fans to accept reality. Whatever the narrative they try to push about anything at our club, just be okay, cool, and keep moving. My advice to Jesus is leave the football before football leaves you. By the way, Havertz, what a player, absolute beast. If you'd have said at the start of last season that Kai Havertz is going to become this predatory goal scorer for you and Jesus is going to fall away, I think people would have wanted to have you certified. It's crazy, the turnaround. Don't all these Arsenal fans give a different reaction when United beat bottom team Southampton 3-0, but now it's a champions mentality with no shot on target and in the first half?
That's different. We're in different places to Man United. What does that mean?
Also, why are you shameless to compare Southampton to Fulham today?
We rotated half our team. We rotated 3 players, and we didn't have Odegaard in our team. Like, what's going on, man? What's
We
going
didn't
on?
have KDB, we didn't have Rodri. We didn't make excuses.
But you're the best team in the world, apparently, and you've won 4 of the last 5
apparently
leagues, bro.
No, but
we either are or aren't.
Well, you are. Yeah. Well, everyone here says you are. So, are you not? Are you not? Have you not won 4 of the last 5 leagues?
Absolutely. That's why I said we're
Yeah.
champions, but you were making
We are
excuses about Southampton.
Yeah. So once again, I ask you. So why you shouldn't have to worry about having a few injuries then if you're that good?
Yeah.
No, but we got lack of numbers, as I told Terry. It doesn't matter. We still got lack of numbers.
This here says, I'm a Man City fan. Hamza learned to be humble. Mo is right. Bernardo needs to be in midfield, not the wing. When you have PTSD all the time, when Arsenal are losing, then you won't move on. Again, I'm not saying that.
First. That's all.
So that means you don't. That means it's real for you. That means that ain't PTSD. It means you don't quite believe yet, which is fine. But I'm just trying to ascertain. It doesn't matter which it is. I'm just trying to ascertain and understand. That's
He'll
fine.
move on
No,
when,
you can
he'll
actually
move on
say, Terry,
when he wins.
Arsenal are now scary after we win a trophy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And do you know what? I respect that. Do you know what it is? I think when it comes to the world that we work in this YouTube world, people come on as panelists, hosts. It's you have to learn to. And I know I do like the reaction shows where I call out for some people's stuff, but it's all done in the name of unity and fun. And go support their channel. Great guy. I don't agree with it, but whatever it is, the mainstream media I'm a little harsher on because they're paid professional pundits that a lot of us pay for with subscriptions, and they come out with things that just lie so often. But as a general rule, like someone not agreeing with someone doesn't think Arsenal's scary. Do you know what it does to me? Do you know how it impacts my life? Not one bit. I respect their opinion and I move on with my life. And that's not a dig. I respect and I want the opinion. But you don't need to, like, me and you see it differently. Let's fight and fall out and not be friends anymore. That's fucking weird behavior, in my opinion. That's proper strange behavior. Me and Jason are cool. Jesus was the sorry, already done that. Super chat. Gunners, who is marking Salah? Yeah, who would you start at left back against Liverpool? Would it be Calafiori or Timber?
Timber.
Yeah, I think I don't know, man. Calafiori, I know people. I think Calafiori.
He's slow. I've seen him.
With Calafiori, with Calafiori, I love him, yeah. But at the same time, I just feel like there's always a lapse of defensive. That's the thing. That's the thing. With Timber, I don't see a foot wrong with Timber, to be honest. But other than that, it's just he's either both.
And bring back Ben White. Timber
Come on, man. Once again, I think this is what I'm not saying you per se, but that's agenda because I know that Timber has been skinned as well this season when I watched him. But now, because it's Calafiori, I don't know, because maybe he's taller, maybe it's a bit more the way he plays. I don't know, man.
I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying just a little bit like.
It's a family member. I've seen you. You defend Calafiori. He's got.
I have to give him a bit. He's Italian. I have to give him a bit.
But to be honest, he was time to get in though. To be honest, that's all.
Guys, I want to thank you all for coming on the show. Absolutely loved every single minute of it. This video is going to take you through to MHF, Mo and Hussam's channel. So make sure you go over there and support the boys over there this evening. We're back tomorrow with more content for you. Of course, we are fan channel reactions, more Premier League games as well. Hit the like and the share button before you go and check out NordVPN by scanning that QR code on the screen. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And remember, Man City and Arsenal are both scary. Peace.
Liverpool.